Welcome to Brand Builders TV. Deep dive topics, tools and resources brought to you by global thought leaders from within the Brand Builders Club. This show gives you access to the strategies that you can use to move forward with ease and flow in every area of your life and business. In today's show, Loubna is going to take you through part 2 of her series, How to Set Yourself Up for Success. Today's show is all about how to take your next steps towards resilience, growth and success. Now, during part 1, Loubna focused on the first foundational skill for success, which is optimism. You now know what optimism is and how you can build your optimism muscle. Life is not about staying positive all the time, says Loubna. We do face stressors and problems. So how do you respond to that? Well, that all depends on your resilience. So in today's session, Loubna is going to focus on this topic and how you can grow your resilience. Learn it, model it, and get shit done. Let's go.
Hello and welcome to another show on Brand Builders TV. For those of you that were with me last week, this is part 2 of the 4-part series, How to Set Yourself Up for Success. And before we get started, let me ask you a couple of questions. What were you doing just before you joined this live broadcast? Did you need to rush to be on time? Or were you prepared to join? And are you now sitting relaxed, curious about what's to come? And if you're watching the replay right now, what triggered your curiosity? What was it that made you decide this is a video that I would like to watch? Whatever state you are in right now, take a deep breath. This is you time. Time you are investing in your personal development. Time is your most valuable asset ever. So you will want to get the most out of our time together. So get rid of any distraction, commit to focusing, and let's get this show started. Now, grab a pen and paper to make notes and participate. The more you participate, the more you will solidify everything that I'm about to share with you about the topic of this session. And if you are anything like me and you prefer to work digitally, use your phone, tablet or laptop, whatever you feel comfortable in using. Now again, and if right now you're watching the replay. So, welcome to Brand Builders TV. My name is Loubna, also known as the That's weird. I don't even know my own title. Also known as the Action Accelerator. And I mentor entrepreneurs to gain clarity, focus, and momentum with lightning speed. And I am so passionate about busting a very, very strong myth that still exists in the world, which is that the only way to success is working hard, and usually working too hard and too long. Now, as I shared on our last session last week, that only leads to burnout and other negative impacts in your life and business. And I don't wish that for you in any way, shape or form. So in this 4-part series, I'm about to share with you some of the foundational traits and skills to set yourself up for success. Now, all of these traits and skills are rooted in science, because I'm a very big believer in also looking at what science has got to teach us, and have been part of my practice for many, many years. Most of them I have mentored and coached and taught to others. So it is very important. Now, last week was part 1 of this 4-part series, and I focused on optimism. Now, optimism is about how we interpret the world and has 2 parts. First, your positive outlook, and the second is how you interpret the events that happen, that you encounter. So if you haven't watched that part, you can find the recording on this page, and I would suggest, if you are interested in boosting your optimism, that you take some time and watch it and share your insights with me. Now let's jump to part 2. Now this session I am about to focus on the topic of resilience, because life is not about staying positive all of the time. No one can. We all face stresses and problems. And how well you respond to this is it depends on your resilience. Now, maybe it's a topic you've never talked about, or you've thought about, or you've reflected on, and this session I'm going to ask you to do exactly that. And after we've reflected on it, I'm going to share a couple of strategies to boost your resilience, because you can. And one of the things that I would love to share with you is, one of the things that I hear a lot about me, or that I get back as feedback, is that, well, you must be happy all the time or positive all the time. And I regularly share, I'm not. I mean, we are human beings and we experience a wide range of emotions, negative, neutral, positive, whatever it is. And so do I. The difference is that because I've trained my resilience and that I'm practicing it every time, I don't stay in that negative state for very long. And that is where I want to get you to. I want you to get on the journey of boosting it in terms of your resilience. So first of all, what comes to mind when you hear the word resilience? Let me know in the comments what your associations are with the word resilience. And I'm going to give you a minute to share with me what some of the associations you have around the term resilience. Sally, thank you for watching. Great to have you on. So it might be that you associate resilience with bouncing back. It might be that you associate resilience with the ability to cope with difficulties and challenges. It might be that you associate resilience with toughness, whether it's mental or physical toughness. And it might be that you associate resilience with endurance and leaning into challenges. Whatever it is with you, there's so many different things you can associate with resilience. And if you ask different people, you will get different answers. Even in the scientific world, in the academic world, there's not one specific definition that most scientists have adopted. So it is very subjective how you associate resilience in any way, shape or form. Sally, thank you for sharing with me that you associate with stamina, ability to bounce back, and flexibility. Now, for the purpose of the session that you and I are in right now, I'm going to define resilience as the capacity to bounce back from adversity and grow stronger from overcoming negative events. Now, each and every one of us has had experiences of struggles, adversities, hardships, and even rejection in business and life. But what makes you successful, and in the last session we went into what is your definition of success, because that too is very subjective, is not by how often we get adversities or we encounter adversities in our life or in business, but it's how we bounce back from them and still give it one more go. So it's not something that happened to you and you've decided, okay, I'm going to give up. This is not for me right now. No, resilient people say, okay, this happened. Let me lean into this challenge and adversity and see how I can bounce back, but even more so, thrive on the face of this adversity. So in essence, resilience is about learning to fall and get back up again. So another way that I've explained resilience before, is it's about how much impact does a stressful event have on you. Now, we live in unprecedented times with a global pandemic and the economic crisis in the world at this moment in time. And for those of you that are watching this later on, maybe a year from now, we've experienced COVID and the negative impact that it has had on a lot of people. Many deaths, many people sick, intelligent lockdowns all over the world, and literally afraid of other people because they might have the disease. And you can get it through that interaction. And for a lot of people, that has been an enormous impact. It has challenged them on their resilience. And there are a lot more people that are complaining in terms of mental health. There is a lot of stress, and each and every one of us is going through this stress right now. Some are bouncing back and thriving and still taking action and giving it one more go and looking into the world of how can I influence, what can I do? And others are still, I don't know what this is, but I'm just gonna go back to bed, cover myself up and watch until it all blows over. Whatever your response is at this moment in time, it happens. And this is a very natural response. So I want you to be compassionate right now and don't think, oh, I'm not one of those resilient people. And know that you can train your resilience and boost it even more. So before we can do that, it's important to know, how resilient am I right now? How resilient do you believe you are? Do you have any idea? I'm about to ask you. So on a scale from 1 to 10, based on the definition that I shared earlier, how would you score your resilience right now in this very moment? And if you feel comfortable in sharing, let me know in the comments what it is. And there is no right or wrong answer to this. Sally, an 8, that is amazing. So whatever it is for you right now. So just score yourself from a scale to 1 to 10. And now for the most important question, because there's no perfect answer to this. There's no, you have to be a minimal of this to be considered very resilient. What's more important is, how happy are you with your score? Are you happy with being a 6? Are you happy with being an 8? Are you happy with the score that you've just decided and assessed yourself on? So if you are, great, keep it going, because that is important. If you're not, right now, you would like it to be higher, stick on, because I'm about to share several ways that you can build your resilience muscle. Now, I want to emphasize this part, which is very important. You are already resilient. You've already, just like Sally has just shared in the comments, have had hardships. You've already have experience of adversities. You've already had stressors, problems, challenges, whatever word works for you. So you are already resilient. It's not that you are absolutely not resilient. And science has taught us that each and every one of us is born with a certain level of resilience. And there was a very long time that they believed that that was fixed. That whatever you were given at birth, that was it. But because our brain is malleable, and it's called neuroplasticity, so you can learn, your brain can learn new things, and we can have influence through our actions, thoughts, feelings, and behaviors in boosting that. So whatever it is right now for you, if you're looking at your piece of paper that you've written down your score and thinking, I'm not really very happy with this score, I'm going to be sharing ways that you can boost that resilience even more. and you can train it and it can become a practice for you. So next time you go through this reflection exercise, you'll be able to write down a higher number. Now, no one will ever be a 10. There's no perfection in this. It is a skill and it's a practice and a mastery. And the more you go through it, the more different things you will learn. So if you're thinking, oh, there must be perfect people, they're not. A 10 is actually not that very good. So my purpose for you with this session is to hit the pause button, because I asked you at the beginning, did you rush or did you plan for this session? And what I want you to do in each and every one of these sessions that I am doing for you is to hit pause and just step away from the day-to-day activities and tasks that you have and reflect on some of these foundational traits. And today that is resilience. Because what I've seen and learned many years is that if we keep going day by day, we never stop to reflect, we can't make any changes. We can't even make decisions on how we can change some of these foundational traits that are essential for your success as an entrepreneur. So consider this you time, like I said in the beginning, and reflect so you can make intentional decisions on what you want to change in your life and business. So now, as you have reflected and you've also determined whether or not you're happy, let's make sure that we dive a little bit more into the factors that contribute to resilience. Because as much as I would love to teach you the strategies right now, it's important that you understand what are some of the things that actually contribute in building your resilience, so you can have the impact and the training that I would wish for you. Now, in the last session last week, I shared optimism. Optimism is a contributing factor to resilience. So if you want to know more about optimism, go back to the recording and watch it to learn more about that. Now, another very important one, and research says that it is probably one of the most important ones in terms of contributing to resilience, is social support. So the people you surround yourself and the support you can get from these people is essential. Now it goes to your family, your friends, and other people. It could be complete strangers. So resilient people know who they can turn to for support. And that could be as simple as just hearing someone out while they make sense of what has happened to them. So how is your social support system? What communities, what relationships do you have that you can turn to when you are faced with an adversity, problem, or challenge? Now, for those of you in the Brand Builders Club, know that the Brand Builders Club is one of those support communities you can tap into anytime you want. The third contributing factor that I'm going to share in this session is purpose in life or meaning in life. Do you have a purpose? And do you know your purpose? Whether that's your purpose in business or in life. And it is known that if you have a purpose, it's way more easier to react and respond to adversity. So, and you have to really believe in this purpose. So it's not something that's at the top level. It's something that you truly believe in, that you want to achieve in your life. Because when you are faced with tragedy, loss, or any other difficulty and adversity, this purpose, and you absolutely believing in this purpose, is what will move you forward, is what will get you back into action, and not pause or paralyze you in your tracks. And for those of you that have read the book by Viktor Frankl, who was captured for many years in prison, and thought, how did you survive this? And he said, literally by making meaning of what he was going through. And his meaning was, they can take everything. They can take my freedom from me. They can take, well, what they can't take away from me is my mind. And that's literally how he survived, and others in that prison survived the hardship that he was in. So meaning and purpose are really important, and there's something that's bigger than you, that you know that you're contributing something that it propels you forward. It can't keep you stuck. So even if right now you're listening to this and thinking, I don't know if I have that something bigger, then maybe one of the practices and the decisions you can make after this, at the end of this session, is to discover your purpose, to see what it could be for you, because it's a very important contributing factor to resilience. Now, the next contributing factor I am so excited about. And because I see a lot of people that have not invested in both of these contributing factors, to be fair, and both of them are self-awareness and self-confidence. The resilient people know themselves, know their behaviors, know how they can respond to other people, know how they react to other situations. So whenever something happens, they have that awareness of their reaction patterns and coping mechanisms. So an adversity or a challenge, they can lean into it and face it head on. And self-confidence is they believe in their abilities, so that every time they're faced, they're not like, oh, I can't do anything about this, and feel a victim of their circumstances. So both of these are very important to focus on. The last contributing factor I'm going to share with you in this session, because there are many, but I've made a decision to focus a couple of them because our time together is short, is the capacity to make realistic plans and take steps to carry them out. Now, every time I meet an entrepreneur and I ask them, but what's your direction? What is your plan? Some of them do have a plan of action, and they know that their vision, and they know their goals, and they know what they're going to. Most of them don't. And it's even been researched that most people do not have goals or do not have any written goals, whether that's in work or career or health or broadly in life. So it is important. But it is an important factor in resiliency. The more you know what you want to do, what your direction is, you'll have the plan to know, but this is what I'll need to be focusing on, and it won't throw you off your axis. So, by now, you might be curious to know, what are some of the ways that I can build my resilience? Well, grab your pen and paper. I'm going to share with you 5 different ways that you can build resilience. Now, these are not the only 5 ways. There are many, many, many more strategies. But for the time that we have together, I'm going to focus on 5 of them. So the first one is going back to the importance of social support, and that is make connections. Cultivate good relationships, good quality relationships with family, friends, even other people, acquaintances, whoever, but cultivate the quality of the relationship, because you want to know that whenever you hit something, who you're going to call, who's that one person or group of people that you can call when you face a challenge, that will listen to you, that will support you, because they care about you enough to make sure that they want to be there on your path back, bouncing back. And another important part with this that I struggled with personally is you need to accept their help. I mean, accepting help and support from those that absolutely care about you can be a challenge. It was for me a very, very long time, because I had decided that I was the only one that's going to take support. I needed to self-support myself, but you can't do it alone, especially as an entrepreneur. We need other people, and it's so essential that we need that support. So make quality connections, invest, call a friend or a family member that you have not spoken to in a very long time. Make a commitment to do that once a week, and it could be a 10-minute conversation on the phone, on Zoom, or as soon as we are allowed back into the world for a cup of coffee or a lunch outside. So one way is to invest in your relationships. And it isn't about having a lot of relationships, it's more about the quality of the relationship. Now, number 2 is also a favorite of mine, is move towards your goal setting. Goal setting is a skill that not a lot of people have mastered, but it's important that you do, so that whenever something hits you that seems unachievable or very difficult, you can flip the switch and ask yourself, what's one thing, even if it's a very small thing, you know you can accomplish today that will help you move in the direction you want to go. So that's number 2. Number 3, take decisive actions. You want to be able to make a decision and take action immediately and flip the switch on any adversity or difficulty. Now, it's a skill you may need to master, you may need to invest a little bit more, but as you know, as entrepreneurs, we are fast action takers. We make good decisions, we make them fast, we experiment, we grab feedback, and then we look, did it work? Yes, we'll do more of that. Did not work, what do we need to change for the next time? Number 4 is look for opportunities for self-discovery. This is revert back to your self-awareness. The more you know about you and what makes you tick, the more resilient you will be able to be, because you can tap into your personal power as a resource when facing adversity and challenge. So number 5, and I'm going to go a little bit fast because I'm also looking at the time and I want to respect your time and mine, and I want to finish in the 30 minutes, 30 minutes-ish, I believe we've got. Number 5 is nurture a positive view of yourself. Each and every one of you that is watching this live right now or the replay, you have strengths, you have things that you are really good at. They might be cultivated strengths, they might not be. But it's good to focus on them. And on the next session, I'll be focusing on strengths. So if you're interested or even curious about how you can discover what your strengths are and how you can play to your strengths more, tune in next Thursday for that session. Now, just a couple of more things before I wrap up. Like I said, there are many ways and many strategies to boost your resilience. I've shared a couple so you can get started. And developing more resilience is a personal journey. Any one strategy that works for me might not work for you, and might not work for another person. So choose a strategy that is in alignment with your personality and your values. And if you make sure that you do that, you will get the benefits of boosting resilience. So as we start to wrap up at the beginning of the session, I asked you to score your resilience and whether or not you were happy with your score. Now, for those of you that wanted that decided or looked at the score and thought, I'm not happy about this, I would like it to be high, I would like to be more resilient in business and in life. After you've heard what the contributing factors are, what 5 different ways that you can build your resilience, and if you're thinking right now, I can't remember all of those 5, which is fine, the recording will be available on this page, so you can go back and watch that segment of this video, is take some time to make an intentional decision on what strategy you're going to choose, what way to build your resilience, and take action on it. Because let's be honest, you can watch hundreds of videos about boosting your resilience, but unless you make that intentional decision and take intentional action, nothing will ever change. So make that intentional decision, and if you feel comfortable, share it with us. There's something very powerful and magic happens when you declare your commitment publicly. It's a great way to be held accountable, because you do not want to, what's the word I want to use? You do not want to disappoint people, and it's a public statement. So if you feel comfortable, let me know in the comments what decision you have made that you're going to take action on. What way are you going to practice resilience in the next 7 days? Because I would love to know when we see each other on the next session next Thursday, what your experiences have been and what the progress is that you have made. So I'm going to be here next Thursday, same time, same place, and I will be talking about strengths, how to discover them and how to play to your strengths more so that you can set yourself up for success in a more sustainable and fun way. Well, thank you for joining me in part 2 of the 4-part series, How to Set Yourself Up for Success on Brand Builders TV. Have fun and see you on the next session. Bye.
I hope that you've enjoyed the show today as much as we've enjoyed making it for you. If you've got anything out of this episode, please do tell someone else how they can subscribe to the Brand Builders TV channel at youtube.com/brandbuilderstv. Why not join us at our next Brand Builders Thinkubator, a global mastermind that we run every week to take away the loneliness of being in business on your own. For more information and to book your place, visit light.brandbuilders.club/Thinkubator. That's light.brandbuilders.club/Thinkubator. Until next time, be the ripple that you wish to see in the world, and we'll see you soon.